Hey everybody, so today I'm going to show you how to create a screen for a mobile app. Basically icons, typography, segmented controls, and how to choose not only icons but locations, and the methodology that I use on why I put things on certain screens and why I do things the way I do. And a few of you have left me comments in previous videos regarding this, so I'm making this for you guys. So the first thing I want you to see here is an iPhone canvas that I created that has an iPhone 4 screen, a 5, a 6, and a 6 Plus. So these are the sizes of the different screens that you have to create these icons for. And you can also do this for Android using, just basically this one. Android's a little easier to create icons for. So iPhone is all of these. So the first thing I want to do is I'm going to make, I'm going to put a picture. Okay, and I'm just going to basically resize it so that it fits right in the middle. And I like to name my layers. Okay, so this is now a full screen iPhone 6 Plus. And I'm going to use a TN and Lax template that gives you a lot of iOS elements. Keep in mind when you're developing these mobile app screens, you don't have to always create everything from scratch. You can find really cool templates like this one. And in this case, I want to make what's called a segmented control, which is basically this right here. Okay, so I want to find this. It's inside navigation, and I want to take menu title. I want this one here. So I'm going to basically just take this and I'm going to drag it over here. And let's bring this photo down here. Okay, and obviously it's too big, so let's go like this, make sure it fits. And don't really need everything, so let's get rid of some of this stuff. And we actually don't want this top part either, because we're going to add a white menu bar. So actually, let's open that back up again. I'm going to leave this open for the remainder of this video so that I can go back and forth if I have to and grab more elements. So we are going to grab the white navigation bar, if there is one. I believe there should be one. Yeah, it's up here. And status bar white would be that one right there. And let's grab the other one. Well, lock screen? No, not lock screen. Let's grab this one. Okay, so I'm just going to go like this time. And I'm going to just go like this. Put this back up here. Okay, so now take the status bar white and let's again resize it. Oops, I've auto selected. If you do that, it grabs everything. So let's grab status bar white and let's put that right there. Okay, there we go. I can move it with the arrows. Okay, perfect. Menu bar. So we didn't need this, so that means I can just delete that. Toggle. Don't need that. Menu. That's what we need. Don't really need this menu or this line. So all we really need is this menu. Okay, perfect. So my idea for what I'm trying to do here is I'm trying to create a screen that allows users to flip between browsing a video or voting on videos. So the first thing I want to do is I want to rename this. And I have my own font that I'm going to use called Helvetica New. We're going to call this Browse. And this one is going to be not zoomed, but it's going to say vote. So let's just call this vote, move it over, give it this color. Okay, so browse and vote. Now it's obviously way too big. I want it to be much smaller than this. I also have to decide, do I want it to stay this color or do I want to make it translucent? I'm going to go with translucent. So let's see what we have here. This is the first one we have here. This is the second one we have there. So this is basically one big rectangle. So we'll just make both of these smaller. I didn't have them both selected, so let's do that one more time. Select both layers this time. Bring it in. Bring it in. And you could also, if you want to make sure you keep things in the middle of the screen, just bring these rulers in. And that tells you where the middle of each thing is. And that way you can actually get this like right smack in the middle. Okay, so browse. Vote. Like I said, I don't think I want to keep these colored. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a different color, which is going to be like a dark gray. But I'm also going to bring the opacity level down. So it's kind of like opaque. And then this one, I want to get rid of the color, so I'm going to bring the fill down so it's kind of translucent like this. And again, this might not be perfect, but we can play around with it. So what I'm going to do, since I see this like blue outline around it, I'm not too keen on this, so I'm going to create my own. And how do you create your own? Well, you choose the rounded rectangle tool, and from here you want to make sure you have the same the radius, which it seems like I don't. It seems like the radius should be less than that, so maybe try 4. And let's do white. 4 seems to be just about right. Maybe not, maybe 3. And what I mean by the radius is this curved, you know, it's curved right here. So let's try this one more time. That's pretty damn close. I mean, it might be 2, but you know, I'll just keep it at 3. All right, so now we have our own shape, which means I can delete this one, and I can also bring the opacity level down once again. And I might not want blue. I might want, you know, like dark gray, something like that. And I can also give this outline just a tad of an outline. And again, this might not be what we want. We might actually want it to not have a fill at all. And then bring the opacity level up, which it is up, so that's curious. No fill. See, even I get stuck sometimes. Let's see. Maybe what I'm trying to go for is a different look. Maybe I'm trying to go for a white stroke. More like that. And then that way you can clearly see which one of these, and this is that one. So we don't want to use that because that's the wrong size. So usually what you could do in this case, this is kind of a little trick, is just, well, first of all, let's name this main toggle. You can duplicate this layer, call it left toggle. Okay, and the left toggle, we're going to rasterize this layer so that it becomes a shape. And then we're going to bring this in to the blue line. Okay, so from here you want to remove this. Oh, there is a stroke on it. So we'll remove the stroke. Remove stroke. So just clear the layer style. There we go. And let's do that. Then clear the style. Clear layer style. And then let's just make it fill this up here. Okay. Now we can choose a color that we want on there. And bring the opacity level down. And then maybe give this color so you can plainly see what this is. So this might make a little more sense in terms of what I'm going for. Maybe we want to make this show through a little more. So maybe like that. And you can go any way you want with this toggle, but this is basically me creating my own toggle. So it kind of shows you what, not only how to make a toggle, but how to position it. And this is all for a developer to see what you're trying to do. And if you want to make a right toggle, you can just duplicate this, call right toggle. And this is easier because we already created it. So you can just basically go into flip horizontal. So see, I just basically copied it, and then you have like a right horizontal in here. I think I did that right. Looks like it's in there correctly. Yeah, but I don't want that. I just want to show one. So that's the first piece, is the toggle. The next thing I want to do is I want to put some icons on here. One is going to be a settings icon, and I think I already have a couple icons in here. So I have browser, and since I don't have the ones I want, I'm going to go into here, and I'm going to go into what's called flat icon. And flat icon is a great place to get some cool stuff. So I want to get settings, a settings icon. Now what kind of icons do you want? Do you want like flat icons like these? Do you want more full icons? I mean, that's kind of, you have to decide what kind of style you want. You know, there's so many styles here, it's crazy. So I'm gonna just kind of click around and see what I find. I know I need a skip icon, so I'm gonna grab this one. Oops, wrong one. I don't want that. I want a PNG file. So I'm gonna grab PNG, download that. I also need a settings icon, so I'm just going to type in settings and decide on which one I want. There's so many different types. I kind of like this one, but I also like this one. So I guess I'm going to go with, it's actually a tough decision. I kind of like this one. Oh, that's not flat icon, is it? No. Shutterstock, you want to avoid that because you got to pay for those. We want to use free ones. I'll go with this one. This one seems pretty simple. Everyone knows this means settings. So I'm going to download this one. And we also need a chat. So, well, it's not really, well, yeah, it is chat, but it's also sending someone a message. But I will do, for a chat, just for the sake of this particular tutorial, I'm going to use this one. Okay. Let's take these three icons. And I already had one, see? So let's take these three icons and plop them into here. and one by one, copy and paste it onto the timeline, onto the canvas. Okay, so and what I suggest is taking these three and putting them into a separate folder called icons. That way you can just get rid of them. And then you can also resize them all at the same time by selecting the folder. So we probably want them to be about this big. But you'll see how to change the size for them in a second, because once we go into iPhone 4, you'll notice that these icons are too big. You know, these are too big for an iPhone 4, as you see. So you'll have to resize them, and that's why I'm showing you these different layers. So I just want to kind of get through this really quick. So I'm going to show you how to. So basically, let's make these icons what we decide to do, and I'm going to make them white, because white seems to be the right color for maybe like an off-white. And I have to give them some sort of like a stroke. Obviously it's too harsh, so I'll give it one. Maybe a drop shadow. And you can change this. Doesn't have to be what I'm doing. I'm just kind of trying to give these layers some depth. Call it skip. Call it settings. Call it chat. There's also a way to maybe, I don't know if I can like unfill these. Yeah, I can't unfill these because they're not raster. They're already icons, so it's like you can't really do that. That's kind of what I was hoping for, was like outlines. But it's fine. And actually, I think white might be the best. So let's just do white, not gray. Yeah, white stands out a little more. So that's kind of how I choose. See, I'm just trying to figure out what's going to stand out the most. And I also noticed these were just way too big. So let's just bring them down a little bit. Okay. Skip is going to go like right around the middle. And this is not the middle of the screen. I think that's the middle of the screen. So that shows where skip goes. Settings I'll put down here. Chat I'll put in the middle. And you're supposed to be able to see the user's profile. So what I'll do is I'll take this duplicate. I'm going to call it avatar. I'm going to make it really small. I'm going to put it over here. And then I'm going to make a circle. Okay, and I'm going to unfill it and give it a stroke as usual. Maybe make it white to kind of go along with the rest of the stuff here. And then I'm going to remove this picture from, so it's only showing inside the circle. The way that I do this perfectly is by bringing down some rulers so I don't mess up. And then I grab the circle and just start by going by the blue until I hit the other edge like this. And just cut, delete this layer, paste, rename it as avatar, and bingo. I have my little avatar. And then you can remove these rulers. That's the quick way of doing it. Oh, and don't forget, at some point we have to save. So I'm going to hit save as, and I'm going to call this browse vote screen. Don't forget to save. Okay, so the avatar, and you could link these by hitting the lock. That way, if I only have the photo selected, oops, wrong one, avatar and shape, and the shape should be called avatar circle. Again, it's easier if you rename stuff. Let's move the navigation bar up here. Icons. Okay, so avatar circle and avatar, let's lock those. And that way, if you only grab one of them, it moves both. Okay, so avatar's over there. We could always bring it up here if we want, like this. Might be a better move to leave it there. So what functionality do I need on this page? I need to be able to browse videos. I need to be able to vote on videos, which I have here. I need to be able to skip the videos. I need to be able to look at the profile of this person. I need to be able to chat with anybody really. And I need to be able to look at my settings. But there's one thing I'm missing. I need to be able to send this person a message. So where should I put that? I guess maybe up here, or maybe underneath here. So sending a message, what would that look like? Let's see, message. Got a couple different things here I could use. It's got to be unique. I mean, Lindsay and I have been working on this. My UI designer, she's awesome, by the way. Big props to Lindsay. And she made this one here. And I like it, but there's still something missing. And I also noticed that she did blue strokes on all these different things. And we can do that. We can make this blue or white or whatever. So I just went with white because I feel like it might stand out more. We can change these to blue if we want, but you know, whatever. I'm just trying to get to the point of showing you how to not only create this stuff, but how to export it for Xcode. And you know what? Instead of keep continuing with the icon that we need, to the chat icon, I'm going to just basically show you how to start doing this now. So let's get rid of this photo first off. All right, so how do you make this work for Xcode and everything else? Well, you need to make sure it fits on an iPhone 4 screen, first of all, on an iPhone 5 screen and an iPhone 6 screen. But the best one to work with is the 4, because if you work with the 4, you can scale up. So, first things first. Let's just grab one of these icons. Let's do the skip icon. And I'm going to bring this 4 to the middle. Okay? And let's make the color of this just so I can barely see it. Okay, skip. So as you can see, that's huge, right? So we got to make it a little smaller. Not that much smaller though. Okay, and then you want to zoom in and you want to select, wrong one, you want to grab the marquee tool, the rectangular, and you want to select around it. Okay, then you want to crop. Then you want to remove the backgrounds. Okay, so all you see is this. Make sure that you have this as close as you can to the image by continuing to crop without damaging the shadow that we have in there. We have a little bit of a shadow, so maybe we want to make the shadow a little less. So it's not as bad. And that's pretty close. I feel comfortable with this. Okay, so now we have this icon. You want to export it as a PNG, and you're going to call it skip video. Okay, and I almost forgot. You got to make sure. Yeah, 44 by 44. That's a pretty good number. I think that's actually. And I have other icons I can look at really quick, but I think that's a pretty good icon size. I forgot about that. Let's go into these. 38 by 38, 38 by 38, 38 by 40, 38 by 40. So it seems like 38 by 40 and then you want to basically double it for each other icon size. So times 2 and times 3. So 38 by 38 seems to be a good size. But I have 44 by 44. That's fine too. So we save that one. So now you want to do 88 by 88. Although I want to make sure that that it looks okay, and I think it does. So let's do skip video at 2 times and 44 times 3. Actually, just make sure 132. And then what you can do is undo everything you just did. Bring the skip back. Now let's see something. This is kind of like a test I do. Remove the icons. Forgot to put the avatar inside the icon folder. Oops. Okay. And now let's bring in the icon into the iPhone 6 Plus screen to see how it looks. It's blurry, obviously. But it's not once you render it out, see? And then I recommend you rendering out this entire screen and looking at it on your iPhone so you can see how the button size are. So if you look at the iPhone screen and the button size, then you'll know if that's the right size or not. Now the developer needs the size to not, I mean, it's going to come out like this, but it doesn't look like that because the developer is actually going to make the size fit onto the phone so that it looks like this. But by scaling it down, it actually makes it look okay. So just keep that in mind. It might look blurry. And technically, and the reason why, I mean, I guess you're supposed to be using 72 dpi canvas, because that way, if you do 300 dpi like I like to do, then what happens is these icons are going to be huge, but they'll look crystal clear. But you have to just kind of forget about the fact that it's going to look blurry at first, because it will not look blurry once you put it in there. So that's how you make an icon. That's how you figure out the size of the icon using the iPhone 4. And then that's how you scale up the icon times 2 and times 3. That's how I've made all of these different icons that you see. There's so many of them. Chat rooms, chat screen. Let me look at all these. So there's just so many, and you'll notice they're all about, 40, 80, 120, 44, 40, 88, and 132. That's the same exact size we just did. But you'll notice these are a little clearer, and it's because these I made starting with the 3 times, and I scaled it down instead of scaling up. But the sizes might be bigger too. So like if we go over here, well, these sizes are still pretty big. So I guess we could technically do 300 dpi, but I would just stick with this. It looks fine, and when you render it out, it'll look fine. So I wouldn't even bother. But if you want to do 300 dpi and then scale down, you could do it that way too. But this should give you a good way of realizing how to make icons, how to choose icons, and where did that one go? Layer 1. How to choose icons, how to create the icons, how to color them, how to stroke them, how to put like an avatar circle, how to make a toggle switch, how to render them out for Xcode, and decide on what to do and where to put it. And hopefully this tutorial helped you out. I'll be making another one in more depth about exporting once again in another video. All right, talk to you later. So thanks for watching this tutorial. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you learned something. If there's ever any tutorial that you want me to create in the future, leave a comment to let me know what it is, or you can email me at jasonsherman.org. And you can also check out my other tutorials, howto.jasonsherman.org. I'll see you in the next one.